Hi everybody. I have this really pretty piece of blue jasper. And I'm going to wrap it in black as it was requested. So I have 3 pieces of color-coded copper wire. I get mine from Parawire. No, they're not paying me to say that. I'm just letting you know where I get mine. So I'm just going sort of bending it. I've bound it together. So I have 20 gauge, 3 strands of 20 gauge, and I've bound it together, wrapping it around with 28 gauge. And this was by request to put it in black, and they didn't really give me any other direction. So I'm kind of freestyling it. And I'm starting to build my YouTube channel. So I thought, what the heck, why not? Okay, so I've wrapped it around. Trying to keep that centered. Brought it around. It's nice and tight. I'm pushing down on the table and the stone, pulling the wires tight, and I'm just going to pinch, lock it back and forth. So I have a frame around the stone. So that's what it looks like right now. And I've smushed it, so I'm going to straighten it out a little bit. Okay, so I've got those nice and flat together. You want to keep them in the same order. You don't want any wires crossing as they're coming up. And then we're going to use the 28 gauge again, Parawire. And I'm just going to unroll a length of it. And I'm going to get these bound together. I'm going to go around 1, pushing it down 2, 3, push, keeping it nice and tight, push down. Okay, that's good. So right now we're making like the bail of the pendant. And I'm just, so I have my needle nose pliers, and I've just kind of tightened that down. And I'm going to trim it off the spool. Kind of roll that end around the back. So it's sticking out there. Okay, so that's down nice and tight. I still have a length of the 28 gauge that I'm going to make the actual bail with. And I'm going to use the back wires on this one, I think. So carefully, I know it's hard to see the black wires, but I have 1, 2, 3 on one side. And I'm going to pull the back wire out just a little bit, and I'm going to bend these to the side out of my way. And then I have 3 on this side, bend it to the back, bend the front to the side, and just double check and make sure that the wires haven't crossed over. Everything's nice and even still in the frame. And double check and make sure my cab fits in still. And it doesn't want to roll around on me. I'm just going to slide him back in there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and lock this in now. So I flipped it over, so I'm looking at the back, and I want just the very back wire. And I'm bending it like at the center up over the back of the stone to hold it in place. Okay. And I'm going to do the same on this side, and I'm just slipping just the very back wire and pushing it over. Okay. So there's what it looks like from the front. And we need to bring up the wires on the front to trap her in there too. So for this, I'm going to get it started with my fingernail, and then I'm going to bring my pliers in so I get a nice neat bend. I'm going to slide it all the way down, right down to where it's wrapped, and just turn. Give that a little push up. I'm going to do the same on this side. Start it with my fingernail, bring it down to where it's wrapped. Give it a bend. That bend didn't bend very. It's not very sharp bend. There we go. My side wires are good. Those wires are good. This back wire is trying to stick out on me. I'm just giving them a little tug. Pull them up a little bit more. Put this in with the there we go. Okay. So that stone's trapped in there. It's not going anywhere. It doesn't wiggle. Okay. Back to the bail. So we have the two wires out the back. And we have this 28 gauge. And just kind of straighten this out a little bit. We have this 28 gauge that we'd wrapped around all 6 wires. Now we're going to take it around just the 2. Pull it down in there tight. And you can do a weaving pattern. You can just wrap this around. Okay, I've got a few around there. I'm going to take my needle nose pliers in here, and I'm just going to straighten those wires back out, because as you wrap the 28 gauge around, it's going to twist those bail wires. So you just go in every few turns around and give it a little crimp. Okay. I'm kind of holding the thread in the back here. And just flattening that out again. And keep wrapping. Keep pushing that down. Nice and tight. I'm just going around and around. I know this part's kind of boring. Come back in, flatten those down so they're nice and neat. You can see that they're on there nice and neat. And around, and around, and around, and around, and around, and around. I feel like I'm on the never-ending merry-go-round here. All right, you want to keep it tight, but you don't want them to overlap. And my wires are starting to twist again, so I'm going to go back in and straighten it out again. Push it down nice and tight. Keep going. And it's up to you if you want your whole bale wrapped or part of your bale, or you want to weave the bale. I mean, there's all different kinds of bales out there. I'm getting lazy. That's getting messy. There we go. Okay, turn it around a couple more times. And then I'm going to go between the two wires just to kind of, I'm going to have to use my pliers here, just to kind of secure it. Okay, this guy needs to be snipped off. And this is going to be the back. I'm going to fold the bale down in here in a second. So just need to fold this guy so it's nice and tight, not sticking up. Make sure everything's still nice and straight. And that got a little loose. Kind of fidgeting it around a little bit. Okay, so now you can use your round nose pliers. You can use a pen, pencil. I'm just going to go around and I'm going to come, so I've gone towards the back and I've come up the center, that little space that I left. And just kind of eyeball it to see, you know, how big you want your bale. Keep it straight. There we go. Okay, so I've got those two through there. I'm going to flatten it right here against there so it's not sticking out in the back. And my wires did cross. So I'm going to uncross my wires. And I'm going to fold them up around. And that stone's still not tight. It's tight. It just keeps wanting to move out of there, though. All right. It's okay. Because we'll get it in a minute. All right. So I'm pulling that through. Kind of tightening those wires down on that side. Do the same on the other side. I'm holding across the front so these two wires don't get pulled out of place. And they're good. Pull that tight. And I'm going to leave these back here just in case I decide I need them to add to the design somewhere or something. So this is what we have right now. We have the little bit right there. And now it's time to play with the wire and make some pretty. So I think I'm going to bring this up and around like this, kind of in front of the veil. And then I'm going to give it a little swirl. Okay, so I have that one going this way. I'm going to bring this one down here more. And I'm going to give it a loop on this side. It's kind of in an awkward place for me to get my finger in to hold it tight. There we go. Okay. I'm going to leave this like this for just a second because I think I'm going to want to roll it up over this. So I have the wires coming from this side and coming down through here. And I am going to roll that up just a little bit. So what I'm doing is I'm going to grab a hold of it right here. And I'm going to roll it back. I'm going to gently take my pliers and just kind of want to move this up just a smidgen. I want that part to stay there, but I want this. There we go. So I'm trying to roll it up away from the stone a little bit right here because I'm actually going to take these for extra security and I'm going to stick them down through here. Maybe only one of them. Let's see what happens. I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to take this one that looks like it's closer to the stone. I'm going to bend it. I'm going to use my pliers because I started with 10 inches of wire thinking, oh, this is a smaller stone. And I usually take too much wire. I think 12 inches would have been better with the loops. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm bringing it around all three wires and then back up in the center. And I'm just using my pliers to help guide it because I don't have that much wire left. I'm going to gently push it around. Okay, so I'm going to push it with this one. Okay, so I brought it around right there. We're still in. I'm just going to make a tiny, I'm going to trim off a little bit and Grab my round nose pliers. Just turn. Oh, it's still longer than I want. I'm just going to take it down a little bit because I can always take wire off, but I can never put it back. There we go. Just have that little loopy right there. All right. I'm going to decide. I think I'm going to leave this one tucked in the back rather than try to bring it. I got a lot going on right there. So this side, I think I'm going to bring down the one's going to be too short, but I'm going to put another loop over here. So this one's too short. We're going to tuck it off in the back, I think. And I think I'm going to put the little loop. Just didn't look even to me there for a second, so I kind of bent that wire in a little bit more. I'm holding on to it pretty tight from the back so it doesn't pull out of place as I'm rounding my loop. And my loop didn't quite close, so I'm going to go back in. Just close the loop. There we go. The loop's closed. I will loop up there. And then this guy we need to tuck in back here. I'm going to go under this wire and just bring it around. And then smush it flat. Okay. And these are the two wires from the bail. And sometimes I use them to make extra swirls or extra, extra design. And I don't think we need them. So we're going to cut those off and tuck those in. And then we got to figure out if we're going to use this piece or not. Actually, do we need a swirl on this side? No, it won't come down. It won't lay right. So we're going to cut that. Just give it a little trim right there. Okay, so I have that little piece. And we're going to just tuck this one in. All right, so it's flush. You can't see it. It won't catch on anything. You need to do the same on this side. On this side, and bend the little tip, and then come back and bend it in. So it's kind of poking inside the wires from the frame, but it's nice and smooth. It's disappeared. Can't see it. Okay, last bit. I have this wire coming down from the other side, and I'm trying to decide if I like this here. I might take it off. I think I'm going to turn this one just into another little swirl, but going that way. So it'll come down. Move this one up a little bit. Just took a little bit more off of that guy. I'm going to tuck that one up there. And I'm going to bring this one down alongside it. And I'm bending around it a little bit. I'm going to trim it off. And I'm going to roll him back out here. So that one will sit right there. Okay. And I think this is a little too extra down here. It just kind of looks out of place, so I'm going to make that one disappear. Just checking to make sure the stone's nice and tight. It is. Just making sure I don't pull that out of place. I'm going to lift this one up a little bit to tuck this one under. Flatten everything back down again. This piece just doesn't want. There we go. It's done. Yay. Thanks for watching. And hopefully I'll get some more on here really soon.